What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at Xavi's base card. He obviously was a new card added last year in terms of icons, and he's got an 88, a 90, and obviously a 93 is his prime. Again, I feel like this card was completely thrown under the radar last year just for the fact that he is very much like the older midfielders, like a Scholes, like even a Gerrard and Lampard to some extent. Not necessarily the quickest, and again, not really the greatest attacker or defender. They are completely centre mids, and their passing is what mainly is their kind of biggest attribute. This game is heavily relying on passing, and I think that is something that you can really get used to with this card. Obviously, there is still some elements and big elements of attacking and defending, but I think if you have got that middleman, somebody who's going to patch it through to obviously the attacking midfielder and potentially the defensive midfielder, you are onto a winner as such. So I'm trying him out. I'm interested in him. He's a 4-star, 3-star, 5'7", so not the tallest midfielder in the world. High work rates, so great for that box to box. Obviously he is right-footed with outside of the foot shot and as a team player. And in terms of the stats then, so he's coming in at about 485 at the moment. I got him for 470, so hopefully maybe make a little bit of kind of, well, I suppose it's not even make anything at the moment, it's still losing on tax, but hopefully kind of really narrow that down with a good sell. In terms of the chemistry style, we've gone with a shadow, as I feel like the pace again is still very important, and obviously the defensive side of him, as I don't necessarily want him attacking too much. I want him kind of just passing it forward rather than kind of sprinting and running with it. It's nice to obviously have that balance. Don't know why he's on 8 chem. I'll have to check that out. I know he's a cam, and obviously won't have the manager bonus, so he will change that to make him into a centre mid, which is actually his natural position that you would get if you pack him. Obviously, we'll look at some of the stats, and the dribbling throughout is fantastic, very close control, and even a passing 92 on a short, 18 on the long, and the greatest thing for that is you don't need to add anything. So if we do add the shadow, you go 91 pace, 72 defending, turn him into an 88 centre mid or an 88 cam, or obviously an 82 DM, because his defending isn't the greatest. So I think having that as a little bit of a boost is going to be better than going with, say, the Hunter and getting your finishing up, because most definitely I just want him parade in the middle. He's got the stamina, he's got the passion and dribbling. Let's jump into him, and hopefully Xavi can produce a masterclass. Xavi's going to go with the interception and loses straight away to Sani there. Xavi, did he find him? Oh, he's not started to sprint, but it's a great ball from Xavi. Little dink over to Aubameyang, who's gone for a header. What a finish, making it 1-1. And that is what Xavi will definitely bring to the table. Some very, very pinpoint passing that was just sensational into Sancho. Xavi. That's poor. That's myself, really. Kaka's going to try and find something through Akanji's going to deny completely, but definitely going up the top there. Xavi again. He's got that great ball control. We do find St. Max. This guy is a very top tier opponent, most definitely. So anything that I'm doing is actually quite good for the level that he is. But Xavi's control is fantastic, most definitely. You can definitely tell the difference between him and somebody with kind of a little bit less ball control as such. Oh, Xavi pings it across, and there is no way that he's scored. Well, I technically not scored that, but beautiful, beautiful. Sometimes you're just worth a ping in. Xavi is going to find the outside of Phil Foden. He's going to flip in a left foot to Sancho. That would have been sensational, and that is kind of like the benefit sometimes of having a left-footed right wing. Just on the odd occasions you don't want to cut in, you can obviously ping it back to his left and curl it in almost. Into Xavi, where can we find? We need some kind of running laps here. We've got Phil Foden going, but he manages just to stop him before he goes for that through ball. I think most definitely for Xavi, what I'm finding is passing-wise is just incredible. Obviously, we was expecting that from him, but in terms of kind of the defensive, I think that's what's going to let him down more in the top tier of players more than anything. But it'll be interesting to see what his mid and prime are like. I don't actually know if one is favoured as such, as I think we used his prime moments last year, and that one was relatively okay, but again, prime moments are a little bit of a different ball game, so it'll be interesting to see what they're like. I don't know if there is a specific one that is better as such, like we do with a couple of the icons already. Oh, that's a cracking ball from Xavi into Sancho. Left foot. Oh, why didn't he go with his left foot across? May have been able to get a little bit more on that if he went with his left. Xavi finds Aubameyang like it's nothing. Do need to kind of be a bit quicker on what I actually do with Aubameyang in that scenario. And Didi's not going to find him, and that's the passing really talking. Just to reiterate with Xavi as well, I think, like I say before, as soon as you've kind of not got the ball, Xavi, he's not necessarily unable to do anything, but I think he kind of puts himself in no man's land a little bit due to the fact that obviously his defending isn't great. So if you don't have the ball constantly, he will kind of just seem like he's not doing a hell of a lot, because literally he's just waiting to pass the ball, as that is predominantly what he does and what he can do very, very well. So when you don't and you're defending, you just find him kind of finding space, hitting pockets, potentially getting interceptions, but very rare at that. Xavi with the interception, very nice. Gets the pass away to Xavi. Little dink over to Aubameyang. No, Upamecano's going to completely deny that opportunity. So good ball from Xavi. Oh, we went one too far with Aubameyang. Pings it. Aubameyang goes straight at Donnarumma. That is my fault for the analog. I kind of put it straight into the keeper's zone, to be honest. Xavi. What are we finding? Little 1-2 with Kaká. Finding himself again. Need a run off. Foden going to have to come back. And again, that is where you're going to get caught. If you've got Xavi and you're kind of holding the ball for more than a second with him, and you've got defenders or attackers on you, that is where you're going to really kind of hit the street, because he's not necessarily the most physically gifted. Xavi pushing. Love it. Little Ndidi pass. That's going astray. Xavi being absolute world class this game. Every single pass being absolutely precision. Just go for the right foot, you never know. Get the corner at the very minimum. So going into the overall for Mr. Xavi then, and again, he was literally as I thought he was going to be. His pace isn't awful. Definitely with the shadow one wasn't terrible in terms of kind of movement. Passing was exquisite, as we could imagine. That was just incredible. Some beautiful balls down the wing to Foden. Really, really putting in some good passes. And overall, quite a nice kind of midfielder. What I did find with him, and this is probably where the relevancy side of him is going to come in, is once you're off the ball with him, he really doesn't do much. He's a smaller centre mid, so he's not necessarily going in with the battles. But what I did find is, in terms of defending, even with the shadow, he's just non-existent. Yes, he managed to get a couple of interceptions here, there and everywhere, but he's kind of just walking around. He's not really providing an option. He's not blocking the ball. He's not getting behind it. And that is kind of just natural for him. He isn't a defender, and necessarily he isn't a forward. He's kind of in no man's land. So if you can almost afford to take a midfielder out, then he's perfect, because you can just knock him the ball, he'll pass it to wherever you need it. That is absolutely fine. But if you need a midfielder to go backwards and defend, and then go forwards and pass, you don't necessarily need to shoot when going forwards. You have plenty of other players there, but I think the defending part is going to be massive for a box to box, and that could increase with, obviously, his prime looks a hell of a lot better. That definitely has a huge upgrade. Even his mid, it doesn't go up too much. Obviously, compared to his base, has a bit more pace, passing's a lot better, and he has a bit more dribbling. But I think it's going to be his prime that is going to be the kind of Xavi that can get involved. But the problem with that is the prime comes in when we've got quite a selection of players. So it's going to be interesting to see. We will still try out his mid, and obviously his prime when that does come out, because I think his mid's coming in at 600. So obviously that's telling me already that either A, it's got very low supply, or there is just that little bit more of a demand for it. So hopefully you did enjoy. I'm going to give Xavi a solid 7.5. I don't think he deserves more than that for his overall gameplay. I'd give him a straight 10 out of 10 for passing, most definitely. And as a kind of surprise player, I'd give him a solid 9. I did think that he was going to be somewhat not usable in the slightest, but I think most definitely you can still use him in that midfield, depending on obviously your game style. So hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.